race fans, and welcome to season 2020, episode 26, the Danny Pedrosa episode of the Pecino Report, the podcast that gets past the hype and gives you the lowdown on what's really happening in the MotoGP paddock, which this week, unfortunately, is absolutely nothing. No MotoGP and no F1 makes Stu a very sad boy. Andrew, how have you stopped yourself from jumping off a tall building this week, my dear?
You know what? I felt so lost. I had naps on Saturday and Sunday and it was just like, what do we do? Oh, I don't know. I'll just have a nap.
Yep.
It was seriously.
Now what?
It's
what do I do?
shocking.
It's been crazy.
Felt completely lost.
Exactly. And Manuel, you're still at home, I see, so I assume you've been doing lots of gardening this week, pottering around the house?
No, just throwing myself on the sofa and starting to look some series that I rarely watch TV, but this time I have discovered some good series.
Oh, good stuff.
What are you watching?
I am watching on Apple TV
Yep.
a series called Tehran. You know, the capital of Iran?
Yes, yeah, capital of Iran.
That sounds serious.
Yeah, it's about spies and Mossad and all this stuff. It's great. I like it.
Gripping stuff.
My weekend was that sad. We started watching The Ranch with Ashton Kutcher and Sam.
Yeah.
Sam,
whatever his name is.
Elliot.
Elliot. I was going to say
Elliot.
Peck and Forth. I must say that's a guilty pleasure of mine. I've watched that a few times. It's actually quite cool.
Oh, yes?
I like the country music in it.
Exactly. Indeed. So, yeah.
But the story goes on in Australia or in America?
It's in America. It's
an American
Texas, of course.
Oh, okay. Grande.
Wild
On the
Open
ranch.
I like
If it was
Texas.
in Australia, they'd just be drinking beer, doing shoeies and drinking goon bags off of clotheslines. There's not much of a story in that.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. And I've been watching Raised by Wolves on,
I wanna watch that.
on one of the showcase channels, which is pretty cool.
But I'm gonna have to wait 3 weeks now before I can watch another show. Right, we're about to have 3 weeks of racing.
Oh yeah, I've got a lot of racing coming up.
Yes.
We have indeed. And speaking of the first one, this weekend we're back to racing again, as we'd always hoped for a long time. And I'll throw to Andrew. Where are we racing this weekend, my dear?
Wow. Yes,
Certain
remember
French
us.
racetrack?
Us.
Are you ready?
Go for it.
We shall be racing in Le Mans.
Yeah.
Oh, he has
Is that a bit of an improvement?
French classes. She has had some French classes.
So I'm actually starting French lessons next week, so I'm going to go in and go, I know French, and I'll chuck that one out.
Exactly. So yeah, a very different racetrack to some of the ones that they've been on recently. And I have been seeing some of the weather reports. It's going to be quite cold and rainy as well. So that
Are we back to back there?
No, just one.
No, just the one
just
race
one.
there, and then we're back over to Spain again.
Because if there were 2 races there, I imagine that not many riders would return from Le Mans.
How come? Why? What is it about this
Because
track?
look, it's so cold. It's in a region called the... Well,
Do you want me to pronounce it for you?
Yeah. Where it's the rainy region of France, basically.
Mm-hmm.
So
I haven't seen
normally...
a raining race yet.
Yeah, no, but normally when the championship goes there, it's in May, okay? And it's in May, that is our spring. It's already cold. It's not close to the sea, but it's flat. So the clouds come from the sea and the weather changes within 1 hour, 1.5 hours.
Yeah.
And this makes Le Mans very critical, okay?
So we'll most likely have a rain for the race?
I would say the probability is very high, until yesterday it was 100% of chances. Now I've seen this morning, it's about 70%.
Yeah.
But the most characteristic is that it will be very cold. The high temperature of the day will be around the 14s.
14.
Yep.
1.4. And this is the highest temperature of the day. So imagine during the day. So this will mean that the ground will be around the 12th, the 13th. So this is super critical, And I have been speaking with team manager and team technicians, and they are like begging for it to rain.
If it's dry,
Because
it's just going to tear some tires up, isn't it? And there's going to be a few teams
no,
that are not going
and
to like that. Yeah.
for the riders, you know, when it rains, the rider go out with some conscious taking care, because they know that
Caution.
it's
Yep.
slippery, right? And he said, okay, because if it's dry, even with low temperature, riders go out and see a dry surface and they go for it. And it's extremely dangerous in terms of crashing is with this temperature.
If it's dry.
Yeah.
If it's dry.
So now that I thought I was getting the handle on tires on these hot tracks, what do we expect to see? Who's better in this cold, wet weather? Which bikes is it going to suit?
Look, the first thing I said, with this temperature, it's a whole challenge for the tire maker. You know, because normally these tires work well when it's how much 30 degrees on the ground, 25, 30 degrees. But with this temperature, the tire just don't heat up, or they cool down if the rider doesn't push constantly on the track. Because you know that the bikes go out, the tires, when they go on the track, they are preheated, right? And the temperature of these tires is a minimum 70 degrees, 70. So this is when the tire are working. So if they go out and keep pushing, okay, the temperature stays there. But as soon as a rider relaxes a little bit and it falls down, then they have a problem. So for Michelin, it will be a whole challenge to produce tire capable to perform in Le Mans. This is factor number one.
So we've seen Ducati have a lot of problems with front and rear tires recently. So are they going to be more susceptible than anybody else at this track?
I don't think so. Look, the Le Mans is a typical or the prototype of a stop and go track. Okay,
what does that mean?
And go. That means that there is a straight, there is almost 180 degrees turn, and then another straight, then braking, another. So it means the rider has to stop the bike, turn the bike, and go.
Good for Ducati then, with their takeoff and the long straights?
No, the straights aren't long.
Oh.
They are. Ducati has an advantage in these circuits where starting from the 5th and the 6th gear. You know what I mean? So the first acceleration is almost the same. The power comes in when it comes to push the bike at in the last gears. Okay?
Is it better for the good breakers because of the...
Yeah. It's very good breaker, but this year we have seen that the new tire has changed completely the behavior of the bike. Okay, this new rear tire that is driving crazy all the Hondas and Dovizioso and Petrucci, these rear tires has neutralized the strong point of the Ducati. That was exactly what you meant, Andra. That was arriving, hard braking, just turning the bike and accelerating. This new tire is much better in the speed that allows the bike in the corner, you know, in the corner speed. The grip, the grip on high lean angle is higher, but as soon as they lift the bike, their grip on pure acceleration isn't that good. So this has penalized the two most powerful bikes on the grid.
Which sounds like it's been good for Suzuki as well.
Exactly. Look, because in the field, they are basically two types of bikes. Okay, Andrea, this is a free lesson.
Thanks. I'll pay attention.
Nothing's free.
Look, there is the bikes that are basically the concept is to have a powerful bike, right? And the other concept is to have an agile bike. The one who
Ducati and Yamaha?
No, the one who apply on power are Ducati and Honda.
Yep.
Ducati and Honda.
Oh,
and
sorry, yeah.
And there the idea is, if I am fast on the straight and I arrive in front of another bike, then he won't be able to overtake me in the turning part,
And
because
they
I
sound
am,
like hard corners to overtake on if it's that.
sorry?
What do you call it? If it's that sharp a corner, is it hard to overtake people on those corners?
No, to overtake on a corner is very difficult once you are in front.
Yeah.
So they say, I get out of the corner, I just open the gas, I have more power, I arrive first again into the next corner.
Mm-hmm.
This is the concept of Ducati and Honda.
That's the whole
Right?
Got
philosophy.
pizza
Yeah.
delivered.
Yeah,
Did
they are
someone just get-
delivering something here. Okay. This is the concept. And this is basically an engineering concept, because on a bike, what makes the difference is to show the engine. You know, the engineers are proud. Look,
Yep.
my bike is the fastest,
Mm-hmm.
because this can be measured, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. The other type of bike are the agile bikes.
Mm-hmm.
And their thinking is, look how interesting. The engine said, I am the boss on the straight. And the others say, on a circuit, 20% is basically turning. 80% is turning. 20% are straights. So I do a bike that is better in 80% of the track.
Is that Yamaha?
That's Yamaha and that's Suzuki.
That's Suzuki, yeah.
I was going to say that.
And KTM and Aprilia are in the middle of nowhere.
The middle.
But
Yep,
these
yep,
two
yep.
groups are like this, right? So this is the principal characteristic. So, and this makes that some bikes are better in some circuits than in others. For example, look, in Barcelona 2 weeks ago, how long did it take for Mir to overtake Jack and his Ducati?
Yeah, exactly.
This is exactly what I explained you. Jack was slower than Mir, clearly, because once Mir overtook him, he just turned away. But what did Jack do? He got out on the straight in Barcelona, bang!
Yep.
280 horsepower.
Yep.
And Mir was like this behind him, but he never managed to get there.
And just kept
Because-
blocking the entry into the corner every time, and he just couldn't get past him.
Yeah, because to overtake somebody on braking, you have to be at least at the same at the same position. You know, this was a clear example of what is a Ducati compared with an agile bike.
Yep.
Do you want to see the opposite? Do you remember in Misano how Mir was overtaking the riders he had in front at the end of the straight in the
through
change of
one and two in the
direction?
change of direction. That was beautiful to watch. Yeah.
That's a bike that is more agile, you know? So, but it's much more difficult and much more risky to overtake like this.
And the amount of ground that the Suzuki would make up as well in Austria around turns 6 and 7 as well.
Yeah,
Similar
look,
kind of concept.
In Misano, the straight is so short that Ducati they couldn't take the profit of his power at the end of the straight. So that allowed Mir to overtake him in the change of direction because he was very, very close.
Exactly.
Okay. So if you want, we can do a small parenthesis here and talk quickly about the different ways of overtaking that exist.
Sure. Yeah.
Shall we? Okay.
Go
So
for
very, this is one of my favorite matters, you know, because there is basically,
She's taking photos of us.
I'm taking a photo for Instagram.
okay.
Huh.
Ilimitados. Very good.
Oh, we've got hours. Keep talking.
Yep.
Okay, so Stu, how many overtaking maneuvers do you think exist in a race, in a motorcycle race?
I think there might be about 5.
Which are?
Give me a shot
go on.
here.
Go on.
Okay.
Speed on the straight.
On the straight.
Overtaking pure speed.
Overtaking.
Yes, speed. I write it down. Speed.
On a corner.
There's more than one in a corner though.
On a corner? No, hang on, more.
If you're Zarco taking someone off the track, that's three.
Zarco
So
technique.
there's 6. There's 5 and Zarco.
Zarco way.
So there's entry into a corner. There's approaching. There's outbraking someone into a corner.
Outbraking, okay.
Yep. There's
Cutting across
accelerating
the
out of a
apex.
corner.
Sorry? Number
Stop
2?
making. Oh,
I was saying accelerating out of a corner.
Okay, acceleration.
Yep. Andrew?
I was trying to be a smart ass. My answer wasn't accurate.
No, your answer with Zarco was very interesting.
That's still a way to overtake. You just knock them off the track and you cut them off.
The problem is that he doesn't overtake.
Yeah.
He just destroys everything who is around.
Yeah. So have we got change of direction as well? Can we talk about that?
Yes, good.
Yep.
Change of direction, like Mir did in Misano.
Exactly. That's right.
I need a clue.
So there's 1 left.
2 left.
Oh.
2 left.
Yes.
Really?
Yes.
Oh,
I give you a say a clue.
Yeah, go on.
Yes, please.
When is the moment of the race where a rider can overtake or lose more positions?
Start line.
At the start.
Exacto, muy bien.
Oh, wunderbar.
Start.
There you go. Race start.
Wunderbar.
Wunderbar. Wunderschön.
And then there is an overtaking that
Slipstream.
slipstreaming. That's cool.
Ooh, well done, Stu. He should get a gold star. Look at Stu with his tats out tonight.
Well,
Guns out.
then there is another one too.
Okay.
Seagulls.
Another one that is not really an overtaking, but we leave it to the last point. First, we explain quickly these points you just mentioned. Okay.
Please tell me you kept mine in though, because mine should count.
Zarco.
Okay, Zarco. Okay,
But knocking people off or
okay,
pushing
that's
them
not
off.
overtaking.
But it is if you push them off and you end up in front of them.
Well,
technically, you've overtaken them.
Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, you are starting to think like a racer.
And I don't even mean knocking them off, but you've seen them. I've seen some of the riders push someone wide to get them off their racing line.
Very good. Look, then we go down to this. There is a way of overtaking that in reality, it's not overtaking. You just occupy the place where the rider in front of you is thinking to go.
The block pass.
Exactly. It's called the block pass.
Yeah.
If you are, but in reality, you don't overtake. You just occupy the place where he was thinking in going to. So he has to
go wide.
Avoid the maneuver.
Exactly.
Okay. This is a way of overtaking without overtaking. Right?
Which is what you were saying, Andrew. That's exactly that.
Yes.
See, I'm learning. Thank you.
Yeah, good. You have the racer spirit. Okay, outbraking, no? Braking, it's the most, no, it's not the safest, but it's the most common overtaking, right? To make an overtaking on braking, you have to have two virtues or two situations. One is that you have to be at the same level of the rider that you are overtaking. Okay, here, the same level here, or you have to have a bike that is quicker in flipping into the turn.
Okay, yep.
So is that coming up to a corner but braking later so that you're in front of the other rider? Or
braking later is a way.
Braking later, braking harder, or braking at the same
or
time.
Braking at the same at the same position, but you have the good side of the corner getting in. Okay. And then there is the other braking where you brake a little bit. The other one is better than you in braking, but you have a bike that is quicker in flipping in. This happens, for example, the Ducati is a bike that brakes extremely late, but is not good in getting into the
not
turn.
as agile.
Exactly. Very good. Outbraking. In acceleration, this is easy. You know, in Barcelona, we have seen the overtaking, always the Ducati, you know, they come out behind the Yamaha and they can overtake or whatever. This is pure engine, right? But for this, you need a harsh acceleration, okay, that you can overtake the bike is in front of you. And then we have this change direction that we have explained, no? The bike that is much more agile, that it overtakes without braking. It's just in a maneuver, you know, where the bike in front is more lazy in changing direction, and you have a more agile bike. But then you flip in.
Which is exactly what we saw with the Suzuki. That's
typical Suzuki, exactamente.
Can I butt in quickly?
Yeah. Sorry?
In that, so when I'm watching the races too, so if you're in front, I know that they've got the boards that tell them who's behind them, but they've really got they might go, yep, all right, I know such and such is close. They would then, do they choose the line they take thinking someone is directly behind them, or is it only if they go, yep, I've seen them, I need to be defensive?
Look, the other day, Spargaro explained it very well. In a race in Misano, he had Viñales or Quartararo behind him, I don't remember, and he said very clear, I knew it was a Yamaha, so I knew how to defend myself. I just
you said,
I just had to block the fast lines. That was Yamaha's strong point, and this is what he did for about 8 laps. It was the Suzuki that was behind him.
Yeah. So in answer to your question, yes, exactly, yeah.
But then sometimes they do that thinking there might be someone close because they're not looking.
No, and that's why they rely on the.
So they can hear the other.
They read on the board, okay?
Yeah, and that's only once a lap they get to see that.
Yeah, but they know the situation. So, when the rider behind is very close, the rider in front can perfectly distinguish the sound of his engine and the one who is behind.
Yeah. Okay.
But he can only hear this when it's very close.
Yeah. And just on that, Manuel, they'd be able to know, like if they hadn't had a pit board, just from the sound of the engine, they'd know what bike that is behind them as well. Like they'd know if it's a Ducati or a Yamaha, wouldn't they as well? They know
I think so. Yeah, they are typical, the Ducati, you know, everyone knows how it sounds. And more them that they are professional and they hear it constantly.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Cool.
Okay, we done it. Now we were on, where were we? Regarding the tracks.
Knocking people off the track.
Knocking people off the track, yes, that's a very French way of overtaking.
No, but we covered it. So it's about that defensive racing line thing is what I actually mean if I was being serious.
Yeah, the block pass.
Yeah, the block pass is very interesting, you know, the block pass. But look, Andrea, you are not in this for a long time, so you don't remember the one. Look, the two.
Thank you for saying that nicely, Manuel.
No, look.
You're so young.
The best two in block passing are Valentino Rossi and Marc Marquez.
Yep.
And block passing is a very aggressive way of overtaking. So what happens when in the past, when they met on the circuit, there were always a bad end of this story. We saw this in Argentina. We saw this in so many places too. Remember?
Yeah.
Now they don't have the chance anymore because Marquez is in one level and Valentino is behind. But in the past, every time they met on the track, the story finished with one rider down or with a clash or with sparks everywhere, you know, because both are super aggressive. And actually, the guy who is the most aggressive is Marc Marquez. He overtakes many.
I saw that race he fell off.
When he fell off and many riders think that's kind of dirty riding, you know.
Yeah, maybe he takes it that bit too far. That's right. Yeah, we've spoken about
that.
Yeah,
the line between aggressivity and dirty in this type of overtaking is very thin.
Yes. Yep. Yeah, definitely. Okay, what's next?
Next, let's have a look. Although this year it's very unprecise. Let's try to find out which bike will perform better or worse on the tracks that are left.
Yeah.
To be
Yeah.
raced.
So after Le Mans, where are we going? We're back to Spain.
We are going to Spain, to Aragon in a double race, double Grand Prix.
Yep.
And normally, Aragon is an absolutely kingdom of Marc Marquez.
Yep.
That's when he's coming back. Is he coming back then?
Exactly. I think he will come back. Look, yesterday I got an information that he wanted to go to Le Mans, but this time he has hurt his team, because returning in Le Mans for Marc Marquez would have been kind of a roulette. With those conditions, it was very easy to crash. So it would have been really another super risky moment, right?
Yeah, probably no point doing it. He's not in the championship standing, so he may as well just wait till Aragon.
So he will. The idea is that him returning in Aragon. I don't know. There are two versions. Look, the versions say once Mark returns, he will return on full power. Right, bang, coming, returning.
How many points do they get for winning a race?
25.
25. Oh. He said yesterday in Spain in an interview that seeing how wrong or how bad how many mistakes the other riders are doing, that every time he sees this, he has more and more wish to come back.
Yeah.
Imagine how hard that would be sitting watching, hey?
Yeah. Yeah, but he's right. No one has put their hand up and really taken hold of the championship. Like Quartararo is the closest to do it, but still no one's really...
Stu, I don't think if they just have lost the reference, because when there is a reference in any sport, this is the guy to beat. When he disappears, so nobody really knows who is the one to fight with.
Yeah,
you understand?
Exactly. Yeah.
I'm looking at the points. He could still come back and win.
Yeah.
Theoretically, he could. There'd need to be a lot of crashes around him. There'd need to be a lot of DNF.
Well, what if he comes back and rides like he did before he had his break? He could win every race.
Yep.
Yeah, but then you have to see how the first of the championship is Quartararo. Yeah. How Quartararo will perform, how,
Yeah, if Quartararo is getting second or third every race, then Marquez is only getting 5 or 8 more points. So,
I get you.
So he would need a lot of, domino effect, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. He could do a Zarco and just take Quartararo
take them all out.
First race. He could
do
a Lorenzo and just take everybody out on turn 10.
I think that nobody would survive to the crashes like Zarco does. He must be kind of...
see Zarco right out of the flames.
Rubber skeleton. He has a rubber skeleton.
He does.
Zarco.
He does. Indeed. So anyway, let's go back to where we were. So talking Aragon.
Okay. Aragon. Aragon normally is
it's a Honda track.
It's a Marc Marquez track.
Yeah.
Because there is another thing. Look, there are tracks that suits to the bikes, but then to the riders as well.
Yeah. As we said, for example, the other week.
Look, the best example is Andrea Dovizioso in Phillip Island.
Mm-hmm.
Every time Andrea Dovizioso goes to Phillip Island, he arrives thinking, if I do 7th, 8th, is okay. But because he says, because our bike is not good enough for this circuit, So 2 years ago, a guy called Álvaro Bautista was given a ride as a wild card because the other rider was injured. Mm-hmm. And Álvaro went out
on which bike?
On the Ducati. The same bike, the same bike than Dovizioso. So he went out and was in the race fighting for the podium. Suddenly, Dovizioso finished that race on the podium.
Mm-hmm.
He was like, hang on, it's in the mental side, isn't it?
Claro, it's all,
like Maverick last race.
Well, Maverick, it's all in the brain. So, okay, you have the tool that maybe matches to that circuit, but it doesn't work. Valentino, who is the worst, which is his worst circuit in the calendar? Valencia. Valencia, where Jorge Lorenzo used to win with a Yamaha.
Mm-hmm.
So it's very difficult. There are some characteristics that may help, but then at the end, it's also down to the rider.
Yeah, exactly. So with Aragon, what's the Yamaha like around there? Like traditionally, what sort of results are we expecting from like Quartararo and Morbidelli, especially?
Aragon has a very, 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 very long straight. Remember?
Yep.
Downwards.
Mm-hmm.
Let me let me tell you a story. 2015, race in Aragon, Endra. Valentino Rossi was fighting for the championship on a Yamaha. And he was fighting for the third position with Dani Pedrosa on a Honda. That was in the twisty part of the circuit. Valentino here in the back of Pedrosa's bike, here. So when they went out on the straight, Pedrosa opened the gas, and then the slower Yamaha lost pace. So at the end of the race, Valentino didn't make it to overtake Pedrosa. So what did he do? After the race, Valentino went to see Pedrosa in his motorhome and told him, Danny, you are not fighting for the championship. So I am fighting for the championship. So let me pass because it's not your game.
What?
Yes. Well, this happened between the riders. It's a matter of respect. But this shows how, what we explained before, how a bike can block a faster bike. You know, a slower rider can block a faster rider just by having his a stronger bike. And this is the situation that can happen.
Yep.
But first, what would Danny's response have been?
Okay, it's a long time ago. It's a long time ago. Now I can say it. He said exactly, if you are looking for a friend, it's too late.
Ooh, go Danny.
Yeah.
And you remember what happened in 2015 or not, Stu?
Which bit? The main thing I remember about 2015 was Argentina.
No. What happened with
Did all of Danny's
and Marc?
family get taken out or something?
No, I don't remember.
Yeah, that was it 16 where Valentino lost the championship.
Oh, right. Of course, yeah, we lost it to Marc. Yes, yeah, definitely.
2015, I think.
Yes, that was 2015. Yep.
And then, they said that there was a Spanish armada against Valentino and so on.
Yeah.
So this sentence was inside this whole story, and the sentence was very clear.
Yeah.
If you are looking for a friend, it's too late.
Yeah, that was a magic year indeed. Okay, so
I do the cowboy whistle, but I can't do the cowboy whistle.
Almost.
Can you do it?
Which one? No, I don't know.
So okay,
Aragon. So it's a
Aragon,
long straight. Ducati, Honda suits them really well.
I would say if the Ducatis there can block the race.
Yep.
Okay. If the Yamaha start in front, maybe they have a chance. So it's an open race, basically.
Yep. So maybe we might see Pecco in with the chance as well.
Yes.
Nice.
Pecco could do well. And obviously, who are the other challenger? There we will have Quartararo, who is fast on every track. A question mark is Mir, what they are going to do there.
Yeah, I was going to ask about Suzuki and KTM. Are they? Do you think they're too far out of it for a track like Aragon?
No, KTM will do well. By the way, the other week, our friend Dani Pedrosa was testing in Valencia.
Right.
So again,
so where are they going after Aragon?
And they have tested in Aragon. So the only circuit where they didn't test was Barcelona, and it didn't go very well for them.
Yeah.
So you can expect something good the next races of KTM.
So going back to the cold temperature, wet weather, does that change? Are there riders that perform better in those conditions?
No.
Or is it same?
It's the same.
Okay.
Maybe some risk more than others.
Yeah.
Look, going quickly back to France. For me, France is basically a surviving race.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
It's better to return from France with less points than with a cast or broken leg or a cast somewhere. So
we haven't had one of those weekends for a while. I don't know if I can handle the stress.
Yeah, that'll be good. And realistically, the way I always look at it is a wet track removes any advantage a bike or a rider might have. It really equalizes the whole track. This is why in wet races you see a lot of the satellite teams getting up there and having good podiums or winning, like with Jack Miller's first win when he was racing for Estrella Galicia back in Assen. A satellite team can win in the wet.
On wet. The good guys on wet, the best on wet is Danilo Petrucci. If it rains, he's a 1 victory challenger. Another one is Jack.
Yep.
You know, in this point, big guys have an advantage because, you know, for them to control the bike is easier. You know?
Exactly.
Jack is big, Petrucci is big.
That's it. So after Aragon, where are we going to next? Valencia. And that's another double header, isn't it?
Yes, Valencia is a disaster for Valentino. Disaster.
Yep.
It's a disaster track for Dovizioso.
Yeah,
that's why Dovizioso has thrown away in Misano and in Barcelona his championship.
Yep.
So you can just erase him from the championship. Dovi has no way.
And what are the main characteristics of that track? Is it more of a
it's a go-kart. It's a go-kart track.
There you go.
You know? Yeah, that's a track for Suzuki. Suzuki will perform there very well. It's a track for KTM. It's a track for Yamaha. So,
I was going to say, so that surprises me why Valentino does so terrible there, because the track sounds like it would suit his riding style.
Exactly, and his bike. No, but he doesn't like it. He says it's too twisty, and he says that it's a small track.
Maybe he doesn't enjoy it as much, so he's like
personal thing.
Yeah.
Indeed.
And I tell you something, it will be interesting to see how it will affect mentally the two big mistakes Valentino has done. You know, he has thrown himself out of the championship. We will see in the next races if we will see a Valentino with his arms down or if he just will be strong enough mentally to let it in the back.
Yep, indeed.
Do you know what I'm keen to see this weekend?
Quartararo
How
naked.
the moto... No. He's too pure for me. The Moto 3 riders on Le Mans sounds like that's going to be very entertaining.
Yes.
Yeah.
Good point. That's a good point. Yes.
It's going to be shit everywhere.
Moto 3 is the race to watch in Le Mans. Yes.
They crack. It's so there. I enjoy that as much as watching Moto GP.
Oh, it's a freight train. It's going to be magic. I think that one of the best comments I ever heard was, I think, from one of the F1 guys that described his Moto 3 perfectly. He called it a rubber-shod centipede of speed. I love it. It's like one after the other. It's fantastic. Absolutely wonderful. Yeah, it's going to be great. And
then last
Valencia,
race,
and then
Portugal.
Portugal. Yeah, wild card.
I don't think if we mentioned this, the track is a new track, by the way.
The one they've never ridden on before.
This week, the riders are knowing the track, riding street bikes.
Street bikes, yeah.
Super bikes, basically.
Oh, we're going to have to strap ourselves in for these.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, so they'll have some knowledge of the track just from racing, as you say, just street bikes, super bikes.
But this situation is perfect for whom? For the guys with more talent.
Yeah, exactly.
There are riders who need a lot of case to be fast, right? And this is good. This is for them. It's very good. This double Grand Prix because they have time. But going to an unknown track, you know, the guy with, they will be fast. Who are these guys? Number one is Marquez. He's the king.
Course, yeah, for sure.
Okay. Then we have guys with talent is Mir. A guy with talent is Jack.
Yep.
A guy with talent is Pecco.
Definitely Pecco. Yep.
Guys who need more to run in is Dovizioso. You know, you can see the guys with talent. We will see very clear who is talented and who is a long distance rider.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. And I think thinking about KTM as well, I think it probably suits Brad more than it suits Paul. I think Paul will.
No, Paul has mountains of talent too.
Really?
Yes.
I thought he was one that would more build than go fast straight away.
He's super. Well, you see how many times he crashes. He's super explosive.
He does scratch a lot. He does.
I've seen him walk off the track. He's explosive.
like a robot, you know?
With his airbag out there. Indeed. Yeah.
Okay, so this is a little bit the theory. Then in these crazy years, everything goes the opposite way that it's normal.
yeah. So we've got what 5, 6 races left or something like that, and we still don't know. I haven't got any clue who's going to win.
When's the season normally start? How much break am I looking at after these races?
Normally March. First race is in March.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes.
So you don't have that long to wait.
Shit. I don't know if I love you guys or hate you guys for this.
For
No,
doing
but
this.
Edra, the winter is long. Look,
Yeah. Or summer for us.
I take, well, for you it's summer. I take December normally like, oh, finally, after 9 months traveling around the world, I am.
Yeah.
When it comes January, I try to invent a Grand Prix to escape.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Indeed.
Draw
No, we
pictures
just watch
and
the
race
cricket.
them around.
That's all we do. We just sit in the sun and watch the
No, we
cricket.
don't. No, we don't.
I think it will be easier if I pass this quarantine in Australia, in the sun than in the cold air.
I think you might have to.
You should.
Yes.
I think you should.
Definitely indeed.
Okay,
All right.
guys.
Fantastic. Absolutely amazing week. Like, there's been no racing, but we've had an incredible conversation as always. Thank you so much, Manuel. It's been enlightening.
Yeah, this time it has been more a conversation than an analysis. No, but it's fun.
Exactly.
I have fun. We talk about bikes. That is what we really.
Yeah, I enjoy these weeks more than actual race weeks.
And I learned a lot. Yeah.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah,
Andrew,
well-
so before we go, have you got some messages for our listeners and our viewers?
I know listeners and viewers. Our YouTube thing's doing pretty well. So I've got to remember to not scratch my nose or whatever, remembering we're on video. As always, drop us messages. Always love the messages coming through. We're now on Twitter. We're on Facebook. Please share us. Tell your mates about us. Get it out there. We're watching our followers grow and grow, but we want to just, want to reach the whole world.
World domination.
I'm also getting frustrated that F1 gets a lot more coverage on our news here in Australia than MotoGP.
It does indeed.
So I think it's something we need to rectify.
Yep.
And Instagram, Andrew _ at the Pecino Report. We've got quick draw _73. And we've got, why is there no U in your name, by the way?
Are
you illiterate?
It's a thing.
Okay. And Manuel on pecinogp.com.
Yes.
For the English version.
The English version, I have 2 fantastic articles. One is about engine brake.
Nice.
Ooh.
How does it work? It's very cool. It's very, when you got it explained properly, it's the most basic thing.
So I'll understand it?
Yes, exactly. I wrote it for Andra's level. It's a new
crayon?
level. It's a new level.
Crayon on a napkin.
Hey, I'm getting there.
And then I also wrote an article about how are the race tire chosen inside the garage.
Oh,
the process is incredible. You know that I didn't know, doing this article, I found out that in each garage, there is a crew only dedicated to choose the 2 tires, but basically the rear tire on Sunday.
How do I get that job?
They have softwares to something incredible. They every afternoon or every evening during the Grand Prix, they have a lot of designs, but they control their riders and the riders of the other boxes, considering how many laps they did, what temperature was when they did this and this time, everything. They are like spying each other constantly. So
I love on some of the docos I watched, and you can hear them going, what tires are such and such using, and they've got their little spies, and I'm thinking, I wonder how often they make up, like they bullshit what tires they're really using, because they're all, what did they have? Oh yeah, there's 3 there.
And on Sunday, look, this is so interesting. On Sunday, Michelin gives them the best tires they have for the race. Tires that have been not heated during the weekend. They are completely virgins. So, and I asked him, which are the best tires? He said, the ones that are completely round. So this means that there are some that are not completely round.
I like a 50-cent piece.
Yeah.
So they have some machines that calculate, obviously we are talking of 0.00 millimeters difference, but
Out of
machines
round,
to find out which are the good one. And these ones, they keep it for Sunday.
Absolutely amazing. And so there you go, ladies and gentlemen. If you want to go and have a good read of those articles, get yourselves over to pecinogp.com or pecinogp.es and go and have a look at those stories. Otherwise, rewind this podcast and have another listen to Manuel's words of wisdom as per usual. And we shall see you or hear you again next week after the race in France. Andra,
After Andra, where?
Le Mans.
Le Mans.
Les Mans.
That's right. So we'll see you after the
Bye bye. Adios.
See you later, gentlemen. Ladies.
Bye.
Adios.